of the letter is the secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation.
Damn.
So it says, hello. After more than 20 years, I finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning points in popular music and ultimately American society. I have struggled for a long time weighing the pros and cons of making my story public, as I was reluctant to implicate the individuals who were present that day. So I've simply decided to leave out the names and all the details that may risk my personal well-being and that of those who were, like me, dragged into something they weren't ready for.
Damn.
Hold on, let me
So we gonna tell a story.
we gonna tell the story. We ain't scared.
You know what I'm saying? What they gonna do?
They after us, not just playing.
Look, that black van.
So look, so he says, between the late 80s and early 90s, I was what you may call a decision maker with one of the more established companies in the music industry. I came to Europe in the early 80s and quickly established myself in the business. The industry was different back then, since technology and media weren't accessible to people like that, like they are today. The industry had more control over the public and had the means to influence them any way it wanted.
Right.
This may explain why in early 1991, I was invited to attend a closed-door meeting with a small group of business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Rap music's new direction.
Yeah.
Little did I know we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practices ever seen.
Crazy.
So this was the meeting. The meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people were being there.
Right.
Most of them familiar faces. Speaking of those I knew, we joked about the theme of the meeting, as many of us did not care for rap and failed to see the purpose of being invited to a private meeting to discuss the future of hip-hop.
Talk to him.
Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. Based on their behavior and formal appearances, they didn't seem to be from our industry. Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign the confidentiality agreement, preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. Needless to say, this intrigued, in some cases, disturbed many of us. The agreement was only a page long, but very clear on matters and consequences, which stated that violating the terms would result in job termination immediately. We asked several people what this meeting was about and the reason for such secrecy, but could not find anyone who had the answers for us. A few people refused to sign and walked out. Nobody stopped them. I was tempted to follow, but curiosity got the best of me.
That's right.
A man who was part of the unfamiliar group collected all the agreements from us. So now it's going to get to the good part because the meeting about to start.
Talk to him, G.
It says, quickly after the meeting began, hold on one second.
Get your popcorn, y'all.
Popcorn, get your pistol. No,
For real, though.
Quickly after this meeting began, one of the industry colleagues, who shall remain nameless like everybody else, thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no other details about his personal background. I think he was the owner of the residence, but that was never confirmed. He briefly praised all of us for the success we had achieved in our industries and congratulated us for being selected as part of this small group of decision makers. At this point, I began to feel slightly uncomfortable and the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry, which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement.
Damn.
He explained that the companies we worked for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons, and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. Then he says, I remember many of us in the group immediately looking at each other in awe and confusion. At the same time, I didn't know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with music. We were told that these prisons were built by privately owned companies who receive funding from the government based on the number of inmates. The more inmates, the more the government would pay these prisons. It was also made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, as they become publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares. Most of us were taken back by this. Again, a couple of people asked what this had to do with us. At this point, my industry colleague who had first opened the meeting took the floor again and answered our questions. He told us that since our employees had become silent investors in this prison business, it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remain filled. Our job would be to help make this happen by making music which promote criminal behavior, rap being the music of choice. He assured us that this would be a great situation for us because rap music was becoming an increasingly profitable market for our companies, and as employees, we'd also be able to buy stocks in these prisons. Immediately, silence came over the room. You could have heard a pin drop. I remember looking around to make sure I wasn't dreaming and saw half of the people with dropped jaws. My daze was interrupted when someone shouted, "Is this a fucking joke?" At this point, things became chaotic.
Right.
Two of the men who were part of the unfamiliar group grabbed the man who shouted and attempted to remove him from the house. A few of us, myself included, tried to intervene. One of them pulled out a gun, and we all backed off. They separated us from the crowd, and all four of us was escorted outside. My industry colleague who opened up the meeting earlier hurried out to meet us and reminded us that we had signed an agreement and would suffer the consequences of speaking out about this publicly, or even those who attended the meeting.
Damn.
I asked him why was he involved with something so corrupt, and he replied, "It's bigger than the music business and nothing we can do. And no, it's bigger than the music business and nothing we want to challenge without risking consequences." We all protested as we walked back into the house. I remember word for word the last thing he said: "It's out of my hands now. Just remember you signed an agreement." He then closed the door behind him. The men rushed us to our car and actually waited until we drove off the property.
Damn.
So this meeting, bro.
Now that's a lot for a meeting right there.
Oh yeah, definitely. And this person later on, he said, this person actually ended up leaving the music industry after this happened. A few years after this, he ended up leaving the music industry.
Okay.
And he said he just over the years he just felt guilty because he said as he sat back and he watched these plans come to a reality
Over 2 decades.
he sat back and was like, wow, they really pulled it off.
Yeah.
They really pulled this off. He was like, they were told not to sign any more political rappers, any more rappers that had messages in their music.
No positivity.
It was all to be gangster rap music that they promoted and anything put that out. Was harmless, fun rap, anything that had a message in it had to go. Now, after reading all this, it actually made me feel a few different ways. The first emotion I felt was shocked, because I was definitely taken back by this, just knowing the level of evil that's involved by even thinking of a plan like this. You know what I'm saying? The second emotion I felt was anger. Anger because it's not enough for them to exploit our culture and make all the money off of it. Mm-hmm. Because let's keep it real, the industry has never been favorable towards the artists. Never. But they're going to go beyond the artists to get the artist to influence and lure in the consumer which they knew at the time were mainly minorities.
Yep.
In other words, keep promoting gangster rap so that the youngsters will be influenced by them, which in turn will incite them to want to act like them, and it's a very good chance they'll end up in their prison.
Yeah.
So they're getting paid twice. They're getting paid from the artists they signing, and then they're getting paid from the people that these artists influence that goes to prison trying to be like these artists.
Yeah.
So they making a killing.
A killing.
They're using the music business to promote their private prison business.
You're the only person that's gonna really put it out there.
How you say rich baby daddy? It's like Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian and Universal.
Wow.
It says Jewish music mogul and CEO of Universal Studios, Lucien Grange, is being investigated on charges of allegedly aiding, abetting, and inducing P. Diddy to run a pedophile ex-trafficking ring and is 100% liable for the crimes.
Drake call you up after that and say, hey, I need more money for my project.
If ever Drake or whenever Drake calls up and says he needs more money for his project, I give it to him.
So Kanye West has jumped into the Kendrick versus Drake feud, and he's throwing shade at Drake's ties to some bigwig industry figures who've been accused of running a PDF file ring. In case you missed it, Kendrick Lamar recently called out Drake and his Oville crew, suggesting they're involved in some shady stuff, even predicting a potential raid on Drake's Toronto mansion by the feds, similar to what happened to Diddy.
You see this background photo that Kendrick used in his new song? All those people are registered ex-offenders, and they're saying that they all live in Drake's house.
Meanwhile, fans have been digging into Drake's past behavior around young women in the industry, and it's looking like there could be some major skeletons in his closet about to be exposed.
Are you joking me? Drake? He wants to see me? And I was like, okay, we're going. So I got my outfit prepared, I went there, and he was such a fanboy, and I was such a fangirl that and honestly we text all the time now. He helps me with everything, just life lessons. He's amazing. He's a great human being, and we went to dinner afterwards, and we had dinner the next day.
Open up y'all eyes like I've been trying to open up y'all eyes about Drake. This man is an executive producer on a show called Euphoria. A show about high schoolers doing adult things, high schoolers being in a relationship with grown adults, doing drugs, having sexual activities. That's what this show revolves around. And Drake is one of the producers of the show. That ain't This grown ass man was texting Millie Bobby Brown when she was 14. And y'all what? This man was allegedly involved with a 16-year-old girl in Canada. But guess what? The age of consent in Canada is 16. But I guess that's why nobody batted an eye about it. This girl was 16 in this picture. And this is Drake with the beard. Drake made a song called TSU. And it took place right around when freshmen was about to take in for college. Come on, man. Drake was on stage with a young girl, touching all over her. And after touching on her for about 2 minutes, he was like, how old are you? And then, man, come on, man. Afterwards.
Y'all gonna have me get carried away again. I get in trouble for shit like this. How old are you? Oh, that's feel guilty or not, but I had fun. I like the way your breasts feel against my chest. I just want to thank you.
Look at this. Billie Eilish a while ago on her 18th birthday saying 18 tomorrow. And look who's under there. I've been waiting. What the? Y'all Y'all really protecting this
Now
man?
Kanye is shining a light on Drake's close relationship with Lucian Grange, the CEO of Universal Music, who's been accused by Diddy's former producers of some serious stuff. And get this, word on the street is that Lucian was setting up Drake to take Diddy's spot as the go-to rapper for certain Hollywood elites. Clearly, this goes way beyond just Kendrick and Drake's rap battle. Serious allegations are being thrown around, not just about Drake, but about the whole industry and the people pulling the strings behind the scenes.
This is his job, to go against God.
Wow. Wow.
And it cuts his soul. Say rich baby daddy, it's like Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian and Universal.
Wow.
He's like, like, man, my daddy got it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, my daddy controlled the spins. My daddy got the DSPs. My daddy. Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian.
So all of his streams in the number ones is controlled by someone named Lucian.
Or Lucian worked for people who control the banks in Africa. Say rich baby daddy, it's like
Kendrick Lamar isn't backing down from Drake, and now he's dropping some heavy accusations, claiming that Drake and his OVO crew are some sickos. On his brutal Drake diss track titled Not Like Us, Kendrick references Drake's 2021 album, Certified Lover Boy, saying that Drake and his OVO crew are a bunch of certified PDF files. By the way, on Meet the Grams, another savage Drake diss track Kendrick dropped last week, he suggested that the alleged crimes taking place at Drake's Toronto mansion, nicknamed the Embassy, are so serious that the feds will come knocking any day now. Kendrick raps, "It's some weird ish going on, and some of these artists be here to police it. They be streamlining victims all inside of their home and calling them tender, then leak videos of themselves to further push their agendas." Cat Williams said, "Get you the truth, so I'ma get mines. The embassy about to get raided too, it's only a matter of time." Kendrick pushes this topic even further in Not Like Us, and the cover art he used, it's a bird's eye view from Google Maps of Drake's Toronto mansion, aka the Embassy, with a bunch of S-offender map tags. Now, Drake has already hit back at Kendrick's diss with a track called The Heart Part 6, where he flat out denies those PDF file accusations. However, Drake decided to name drop Stranger Things star Millie Bobby Brown and those rumors about the two of them, despite the fact that Kendrick never mentioned Millie in any of his tracks. In The Heart Part 6, Drake talks about Kendrick's wife Whitney, essentially saying he's into grown women exclusively. He raps, "Only effing with Whitney's, not Millie Bobby Brown's. I'd never look twice at no teenager." Earlier in the song, Drake also shrugs off those PDF allegations, claiming that he's way too famous to be doing anything like that. He then argues that if there was any truth to those claims, he'd already be locked up. "I promise I'd have been arrested. I'm way too famous for this ish you just suggested." But hold up, what were Drake's ghostwriters hoping to achieve with this line? I mean, it makes no sense because it's taken ages for the feds to even start sniffing around allegations against people like R. Kelly, Diddy, Harvey Weinstein, and Jeffrey Epstein. So for Drake to say he'd already be in prison if Kendrick's accusations were true, that logic doesn't fly. If anything, the more famous and rich these PDF files are, the longer it takes for them to face any consequences. Now, circling back to Drake name dropping Millie Bobby Brown, let me give you the lowdown on how those Drake and Millie rumors started. Back in July 2018, Millie, who was 14 at the time, spilled the tea to W Magazine, revealing that she and Drake, who was 31, were talking all the time. According to W, Millie met Drake in Australia around November 2017 when she was 13, and Millie told W that Drake invited her to his show. "He invited me to his concert," Millie said. "And now we talk all the time. I ask his advice." Now fast forward a few months, and Millie told Access Hollywood they were still texting each other all the time and that Drake was giving her boy advice.
And he's honestly so fantastic and a great friend and a great role model. You know, we just text each other the other day and he was like, "I miss you so much." I was like, "I miss you more." He's coming to Atlanta, so I'm definitely going to go and see him. I'm so excited, yeah.
You and Drake? That's awesome. That's awesome.
What advice does he give you? Like, what does he say?
About boys. He helps me.
What?
Yeah. He's great. He's wonderful. I love him.
What's his advice with boys?
You know, that stays in the text messages.
This situation triggered a lot of backlash against Drake because there's a 17-year age difference between him and Millie, and there was absolutely zero reason for him to be texting her. Now, Drake initially kept silent about his friendship with Millie, and it took him years to address it. He finally spoke out about the backlash for the first time on his 2023 album, For All the Dogs. However, he dismissed the critics, and in true Drake gaslighting style, he accused fans of being weirdos. So according to Drake, fans are weirdos for even asking about Millie, but he's not a weirdo for talking to her? Make it make sense, but it gets worse because it's not just Millie Bobby. There are whispers about Drake trying to make moves on multiple young women, including Kylie Jenner. Back in 2013, when Drake was 27, he performed at Kylie's 16th birthday bash, and there's this photo floating around of him planting a kiss on Kylie's cheek. And then there's also this video that's now making the rounds, showing Drake getting a little too close to a young fan on stage. Now jumping ahead to 2018, Vice reported that Drake, who was 31 then, was dating an 18-year-old model, Bella Harris. The age gap alone was raising eyebrows, but it got even sketchier when it was revealed that Drake met Bella in 2016 during his Summer 16 tour with Future, meaning Bella was 16 at the time and Drake was 29. And to add some more fuel to the fire, in 2019, 17-year-old Billie Eilish told Vanity Fair that Drake, who was 33 at the time, was hitting her up with texts. So as you can see, it's not just a one-off incident, it's more like a recurring pattern. And now that Kendrick is straight up accusing Drake and his entire OVO crew of being PDF files, fans are saying there's nothing Drake can say to shake off those allegations. But wait a second, because Kanye has something to add. Kanye recently sat down for an interview on the Download podcast, and when asked what is it about Drake that makes all other rappers distrust him, Kanye said it all ties to Drake's baby daddy, Universal Music CEO, and one of the most powerful men in entertainment, Lucian Grange.
I just have to know that, because it's like, for everybody, all of the great, Weeknd, Pluto, Metro, Ross, Kendrick, like, there's something obviously wrong with this one individual that no one wants to speak about, and I feel like you're the only person that's gonna really put it out there.
They say rich baby daddy, it's like Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian and Universal.
Wow. He's like, like, man, my daddy got it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, my daddy controlled the spins. My daddy got the DSPs. My daddy. Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian.
So all of his streams in the number ones is controlled by someone named Lucian.
Well, Lucian worked for people who control the banks in Africa, who keep, oh my God. Think about we had Black Wall Street, we had Harlem, we've been gentrified, and we ain't really been pulled together since, other than to maintain what they call the black vote, which you don't have an opinion in that vote. And then they get all these celebrities, they go on TV like, we got a problem with his political opinion. He's out of control. He's bipolar. He's anti-Semite. He's whatever they want to call somebody to try to get people to not listen.
Now here's the thing about Lucian. He recently came under public scrutiny after producer Lil Rod named him in his lawsuit against Diddy, alleging that Lucian provided vast sums of cash which made Diddy's criminal venture possible. Lil Rod claimed he saw Lucian visiting Diddy's home in Miami and LA many times, and allegedly whenever Lucian visited Diddy, it would be in the evening and the two of them would disappear for hours in Diddy's bedroom. The lawsuit also claims that Lucian aided, abetted, and induced Diddy's alleged crimes crimes, and Lil Rod describes Lucian as one of the co-conspirators who knowingly benefited from coercive S trafficking. But that's not all. Lil Rod also revealed that Diddy had hidden cameras in every room of his homes, and he reportedly recorded Lucien as well as other high-profile figures in compromising situations. So now that Lucien's close relationship with Drake is in the spotlight, rumors are going around that Lucian threw Diddy under the bus once he found out about those secret recordings and was planning to replace him with Drake in this alleged industry-wide trafficking operation. One fan said, Lucian Grange is the man who runs Universal Music, same man named in Diddy lawsuit. Drake loves young girls. No such thing as coincidence. And another person added, Lucian Grange owes 50% of the music industry, if not 2/3 of everything you consume. He is in the middle of the Diddy mess. Allegedly, he is replacing Diddy with Drake. Might be what's prompting this whole feud.
Job was basically just to text girls to invite to Drake's parties.
Oh, sweetie, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Now, everything I'm about to tell you is 100% true, and this information came to me from one of the crew members on Drake's tour. This was the guy who did all the tech stuff. And he told me that Drake has an employee whose job is to go around town looking for super hot girls. He finds the girls and then he interviews them. And out of all the girls he interviews, he picks the one that he thinks is the best. Then he drives her to Drake's place. Drake has sex with her and then he drives her home. So basically, Drake has his own private
People
Tinder.
who own the labels own the prisons. So... literally the same people? Literally the same people who own the labels own private prisons. So, you know, it seems really kind of suspicious, if you want to say that word, that, you know, the records that come out are really geared to push people towards that prison industry.
But they didn't make you write those lyrics.
It's not about making somebody write the lyrics. It's about being there as guardrails to make sure certain songs make it through and certain songs don't. Certain flavors are exposed on the record. You know, some records are made by committee. Meaning record company guys sit around and tell the artists, this is hot, say that, do this.
Us as the artists is the tool they use.
Yeah.
The music is the bait.
Yep.
And the young consumers are the prey. It's a cold game.
Cold game, bro.
Cold
You know what I'm
game.
saying?
Then I felt sad. Sad because everything we seem to try to create, we always seem to give it away. We're always being tricked and deceived into believing that they have our best interests at hand when clearly they never have and they never will. They never will have our best interests at hand. It's blow after blow after blow after.
Actually has a very political point in one of his new songs. It's called New Slaves, and he talks about something that you don't typically think about within a rap song. Private prisons, something we talk about on the Young Turks quite often. So I want to read you some of his lyrics, and please excuse me for sounding like a white girl who does not sound cool while she reads Kanye West's lyrics. But he says, meanwhile, the DEA teamed up with the CCA, that's Corrections Corporation of America. They're trying to lock niggas up. They're trying to make new slaves. See, that's that private-owned prison. Get your piece today. So I love the fact that, you know, he's talking about something that's a real problem in the country. It's been a real problem in the country since the 1980s when authorities realized, oh my God, our prisons are overpopulated. We don't know what to do. And it's because we're arresting so many people for nonviolent drug offenses. Mm-hmm. And of course, these corporations start popping up and they say, well, you know what? We can make a lot of money off of imprisoning these people, nonviolent or violent, who cares? As long as there's profit to be made, let's do it. And because of these ridiculous drug laws, you're seeing that a disproportionate amount of blacks and Latinos are getting arrested, prosecuted, and locked away for nonviolent drug offenses as opposed to white people, okay? And there are statistics to back it up. Even though more white people will smoke marijuana, more black people will get arrested for it and more black people will spend time in prison for it. So I like that Kanye West has this new song called New Slaves, because this is a new form of slavery where we will lock up people of color, and at that same time we will force them to work for a few cents each hour while they're in prison.
How you feeling, brother?
I feel good.
You look great. Thank you very much, sir.
You look great, my girl.
Thank you, Kanye.
Do you want to talk about anything, Kanye? I mean, do you think you're being unfairly targeted for the comments that you've been making?
Do you feel like these things, sir? Yes,
Absolutely. You know, I mean, anti-Semitic statements are never good for anybody, right? It's kind of like being anti-black.
But, you know, it's really interesting. I didn't realize that I could be considered anti-Semitic till I read one of the definitions of anti-Semitism. Look at this. The definition says, making mendacious, dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews as such, or the power of Jews as a collective, such as, especially, but not exclusively. This sounds like a, let it go back.
What was that?
All right, so it says, think about it, that sounds like the type wording that's in the contracts, right?
Indeed.
Okay, it says, such as, especially, but not exclusively, the myth about a world Jewish conspiracy or of Jews controlling the media, economy, government, or other societal institutions.
But isn't that what you said? That Jews run everything?
Yeah, but that actually is considered to be anti-Semitic.
Right.
So I didn't realize that it was anti-Semitic to say, hey, you know, I have a Jewish attorney, I have a Jewish record label, I have a Jewish contractor, I have a
Do you
Jewish...
regret your statements? Or the statements you think you should be walking back? I mean, considering...
What do you mean walking back?
Well, you know, backing up off of them. I mean, the thing is, you've lost a lot of endorsements. People are dropping you. You're getting, you know, vilified. You know, I mean, you might think you're right, but I think, you know, there's a whole world out there that's condemning you for what you said.
Okay, so this right here is a chart of Universal Studios, 20th Century Fox, ABC News, CBS News, Columbia Pictures, Warner Brothers, ESPN Sports, Fox News, Washington Post, Metro Goldwyn Mayer, MTV Music Television, Nickelodeon, USA Today, Wall Street Journal, Comedy Central, NBC Entertainment, Google, what else do we have? Disney, ABC Kids and Family, YouTube, Los Angeles Times, Discovery Network, Paramount Pictures, Facebook, Huffington Post, Yahoo, Marvel, Hulu, Cosmopolitan, Time, Touchstone, Associated Press, Pixar, Miramax, HBO, New York Post, LucasArts, MSNBC, DreamWorks Animation. Now, the thing is, I skipped over maybe about 5 of them because it was just unclear on this list. The red are the executives that are Jewish at these companies.
Do you think they stuck together when they heard what you said? Was that what happened?
Well, what I said is, hey, you know, I've had experiences where it felt like I was being teamed up on, and I didn't realize that term would be considered to be anti-Semitic. So I had a mediation with Adidas today, and I think Adidas felt like because everyone else was ganging up on me that they had the right to just take my designs.
Well, what's your opinion on Jerry Heller?
Man, like I said, man, you know, we were young when we were doing this thing, and there were no contracts. And, you know, when we first started NWA and Ruthless Records, it was a thing where it was a family. Like me, Dre, and Cube, and everybody kind of got together and was like, let's do this thing, you know, with Easy, and we're all going to share in the profits of this, you know, of this thing. We're going to share in the profits, and we're going to do it that way. And it didn't turn out that way when Jerry Heller got involved. It turned into like this business thing, but the problem was there were no contracts except for Easy. So, you know, I'm like, man, if I can't get paid right, my 20% of this, you know, family thing that we've had going on since like the first NWA record and everything else, I'm out. And that's why I bounced. But, you know, like I said, man, Gary might have some things on his side, but what I think is probably going to happen is there's going to be a lot of dirt going both ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jerry going to try to pull a whole lot of dirt out, but I think that's going to open up a can of worms for a lot of dirt that he did back in the day as well.
You know what I'm saying? If you look at the Ruthless family tree, it branched out to hundreds and hundreds of millions of records. You know what I'm saying? Globally. How does it feel to be part of that tree, Cocaine? And can you reflect a little bit on the Godfather of gangster rap for us?
Well, you know, it's surreal, fam. That's all I can say. You know, to be a part of that rich history, you know, good and bad times, you know what I'm saying, but mostly good times. Man, it was something else. That's all I can tell you. Sometimes it's kind of hard to put the words to it, but I'll tell you this: what kept me, besides number one, you know, God and my family. You know, being around that source kept me going, man, because, you know, Easy never made you feel like you was worth 2 cents. He, you know, he let you kick it around him. He let you. You know what I'm saying? I came to him, and he was like, Coke, I want you to do something for me. I'm having a hard part on this stuff. And here I am, really a nobody in the game, and he wants me to write Appetite for Destruction. He wants me to write his part. And I'm like, you want me to write my part? You know what I'm saying? And it's not like I was starstruck because I was with him already and with a blah. But he always gave somebody an opportunity and a chance. And you got to realize, you know, Dre, you know, when I seen the Defiant one, you know, it was on point. Most of the things was on point there. And you got to realize if there was no Eric, though, and not taking nothing away from any of the tree, all of us, but if there was no Eric putting up his hustle money, this wouldn't be possible. Me and you wouldn't be talking. Eric was not only the blueprint to allowing us to articulate our message from a suppressed environment called ghettos, but his tree created a multi-billion-dollar corporations for different subsidiaries out of that one tree, out of him taking his Compton money and putting his dope money up and saying, let's get this shit cracking. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so, you know, Easy, me, just as equal as anyone at the top. Cube, and they know it too, because they said, Dre, any one of us. Easy needs to be inducted into some of these colleges in their books. Because when you're talking about economics and different history of hip-hop has the biggest economics. And he was our West Coast Russell Simmons.
Yeah. And it's amazing, too, because, you know, I was watching a little bit of the Defiant ones, and I saw that footage of him. They were teaching him how to rap and stuff. And, you know, the man had the charisma to be able to do that and maintain a business mind to be able to find other talent, too. Like, you knew it wasn't about him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He wanted to make sure that he had talented people around him. You know?
Yeah. And I'll say this. I must not forget that. Everybody can point the finger at each other, and everybody's cool now, which is a blessed thing. But you can't leave Jerry Heller out. You cannot leave Jerry Heller out. If Jerry Heller had the Jewish connection to get that shit cross-board, let me tell you something. Let me keep it real. Everybody want to poke pop shots, but it's like cool right now. There's people that are gone. So therefore, it's for all of us to go ahead and then put aside of everything, which we all did. But Jerry Heller was an important part because couldn't no ghetto niggas that was fucking with McCullough records and other things like that get it demographically across the world to the white audience. Once the white audience gravitated to it, then the whole schematics of everything changed. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say, not only that, for good or for bad, you know, big ups to Jerry Heller. You know what I'm saying? Big ups to what Easy did. It's just crazy that a lot of things in between had came along the way. It was one time where We were hot at Dre, and Dre were hot at us, and we were hot at Snoop and Snoop. So at the end of the day, it's about accountability, because you cast the first stone with anybody. And everybody's accountable. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say, I got to say that, because ghetto niggas wouldn't have been able to do it if they didn't have that Jewish plug. And I'm just keeping it real.
I went to the hospital, and I went into Eric's room, and I think Tamika was in, and Eric wanted to talk to me. He said, "Mom, I have something to tell you." And I said, "Well, tell me then." He said, the doctor said I had something like Magic Johnson have. I'm sorry. And I said, "You mean to tell me?" And then he said, "AIDS."
When the diagnosis was given and took place with the doctor, there were conversations between myself and him and his family of how to approach it. And due to the fact that he was in the limelight in terms of the public eye, other than just being Eric Wright at home or, that's my buddy, there are young people, older people, people that look to him as fans, kind of like, what are you doing? What's going on? Good, bad, whatever. That something needed to be released, something needed to be said.
You wear condoms when you have sex?
No, apparently not.
You don't have condoms?
No.
You never wear a condom?
No. You heard about AIDS?
Yeah, but the people that I mess with don't.
They're clean.
Yeah.
How do you know?
You smell them before you have sex
I would
with
have had
them.
it myself if they would have had it, right?
Oh.
The disease is the worst thing about sex.
Yeah, that's the worst.
That's if you don't wear a condom.
You wear a condom.
But when Eazy-E died, our whole life changed, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like what
So
happened?
I don't even want to get into that, because I don't even believe that Eazy-E died of full-blown AIDS that quick.
What did he die?
I think he got injected with it.
Damn.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody injected him? Who you think injected
Jerry Heller.
What the fuck?
Jerry Heller.
Jerry Heller injected Eazy-E with AIDS?
Doctors.
His doctors?
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
What would be his motive behind it?
How else could you explain a common cough? How else could you explain that in November, December, my first leather coat I ever had?
Yeah.
Right, so I remember it like cooked food. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Okay, tie the leather coat into the shot.
Okay, I'm about to come, James.
I got you. Okay.
All right, so what I was saying was like Eazy-E, December.
Right. That's what we were doing?
January.
Right.
Full blown, I mean, no. HIV positive.
HIV positive.
January.
Okay.
February. Full blown. March, dead. Ain't nobody never died like that.
God damn. So you're saying the
Magic Show didn't. But he went to, now I'm going to tie Jerry Heller back in, and I ain't going to put the cough back in it no more.
It's all good.
Because
that gave me a sort of a visual.
Well, I was there.
I can stop right there. Right there.
You was
how
there
he got
too.
in the White House. When he got in the White House, after that happened, all the things had turned.
That dude
His
said,
power really set him up by knowing so much and getting into the White House to the meeting.
Right. And that was
can I tell you something,
easy.
Teddy?
Easy.
Yeah. Hey, Jamie. Jamie.
Wait, hold on. What did Easy do? This is an exclusive here on Sirius Radio.
He went to the White House. He made a large contribution. His name was on a list of people who made contributions. They had no idea that it was Eazy-E. It was Eric Wright. And so as a result of him being given these donations, he was invited to the White House. And Eazy always said that he went because it was $1,500. It cost him $1,500 for $1 million worth of press.
Right.
Wow.
And that's the famous quote. But that's all they said that night. Because that's what he said. But at the same time, you don't end up with a 3-month cough and then die from a 7-year disease.
He was known to have bronchitis. I mean,
he had bronchitis. He had that all his life.
Right.
Yeah, but it doesn't turn into
that. Was my friend. That was my thing.
I hear you, Lazy, but let's get to the bottom of this now, because this is crazy. Because I don't want to get. I'm not gonna get no more shots. You're telling me
they gone already.
But this is what I'm saying. You're telling me simply because he went to the White House that they did this to him?
No, it's not just that. It's just all the power that he accumulated.
Really? Hold on, Jamie. Let me back it up a little bit before you clown me.
I'm not clowning. Go.
All right, look. Look,
But I'm
what
broke.
happened was, I know. But what happened was, like, in November, that's when he had met back up with Ice Cube in November. We was in New York at the Tunnel.
Right.
You know what the Tunnel is.
Yeah, I got it.
You know, that was rocking the spot.
Yeah.
Him and Cube met back up. He fired Jerry Heller. Jerry Heller never left the office.
Wow.
He had so much heart that he didn't make the nigga leave.
Wow.
And he was playing, Jerry Heller was playing Eazy-E music.
But Lazy, why would Jerry Heller do that and allegedly do that?
Because he managed Pink Floyd. He did so many great groups. You know what I mean? Like he was managing the whole situation, and for him to get fired, like E didn't want to let him go. I was there. I was a kid at the time. I'm 33 now. Back then I was 17.
So why did he fire him?
He fired him because his money was being mismanaged, which is legitimate. You know what I'm saying? All his money was being mismanaged, and then when he met with Ice Cube, and Ice Cube finally told him the business, like, you can get it like this.
So
he seen it.
Right.
And nigga, I'm talking about we left LA, went to New York. This was in like November, damn near around Thanksgiving. Like Eazy-E, he was putting his group back together. He was like, the only group gonna be greater than y'all is NWA.
Yep. Wow.
And him and Cube was talking that night. I was there. He went back home with a common cough. Nigga had on the Pendleton.
And he was in New York with just the Pendleton on. He didn't have a heavy coat. So as a result of that, he got really sick.
He married his wife. Never got married, but he married his wife on his deathbed.
Was that her?
Whoa.
Was that her doing?
No, that was his. No, that was Jerry Heller's conniving business.
So he made the girl marry Easy to get the cheese?
Yeah, nigga.
I do know that there was a reunion in the works, but Cube and Dre said they wouldn't do it if Jerry Heller was involved.
Right. So
Is that serious enough though?
Jerry
for
Heller
Jerry
got rid of
Heller
Eazy-E.
to really lazy bone.
November common cough. December bronchitis.
Why not just hang him out the window like 5 Heartbeats as opposed to
I don't know, man. It don't go like that in life.
But I mean seriously, I mean that's your true feeling.
They don't go like that in life.
But what about the fact that he did allegedly live a promiscuous lifestyle? You don't think that played into any of that?
I mean, all I know is like his wife was pregnant. The baby ain't got it. She ain't got it. Ain't none of them babies got it.
This shit blew my fucking mind when I seen this shit, bro. On God, this shit blew my fucking mind, bro. Like dead ass, bro. This break is pre-ordering bitches, bro. He's dead ass pre-ordering, bro. And this what, May 5th, 2016? Linked her a week after she turned 16. She basically freshly 16, bro. Like God, like what is this shit, bro? Bro, this shit like actually blew me when I seen this, bro. Is that your GOAT? That's the thing.
Hold on. I'm at the pool party. BBL Drizzy, I'm at the pool party. And they just called you a petty. You a chomo? They backed it up at the party. Come on, black boy.
Help you put your lingo off. 21, get your first street cred. They'll get you feel like you a slime in your head. People say you can be from north side. Two chains say you good, but he not. They not like us. 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 They not like us.
Like your words up there that like kind of funky and weird.
The guys at our school, instead of addressing people like the group, like saying like, what are you guys doing? Say man's like you. It's really weird. Yeah, so man's like you are going to that, and then this means like the group.
Crew. That's interesting.
It's not. It's really ignorant.
Or rude. That's rude.
It bugged me, man. It bugged me because it was like somebody I looked up to at one point. It was somebody that I was like, I used to see out and be like, yo, that's that nigga. You know what I'm saying? He's doing his thing. He opened for Jay. You know, he had records. He was killing them. He worked with Pharrell. He worked with the Clips.
Tell y'all, Kendrick knew all about it, and he did not hold back on any kind of track. He straight up pulled another Pusha T, talking about Drake was hiding the world from the world and the kids from the world and the world from the kids, saying that he had a daughter that he had hidden away. And let me tell y'all, we were all shook. I mean, Kendrick, baby. What do you mean Drake's hiding the whole child from us again? Now, we all thought Adonis was the only one tucked away. Well, Kendrick dropped a bombshell with these lines. You lied about your son. You lied about your daughter, huh? You lied about them other kids that's out here hoping that you come. It's wild, y'all. But then again, knowing Drake's track record, it's not exactly surprising. Remember when Adonis came into the picture? Drake only fessed up to being a dad after Pusha T called him out on it. Then he tried to spin it like he was hiding his son from the world. Yeah, Drake. Well, in November 2022, there were reports that Drake had allegedly gotten a woman pregnant. A source said it appears that Drizzy's legal team is taking the woman's claim seriously as they were keeping her quiet with an ironclad contract. The girl signed Drake's non-disclosure agreement, so she can't really talk about anything. So it's not really surprising that he would probably pull that stunt again. However, Drake himself replied to this on Instagram saying, "Nah, hold on. Can someone find my hidden daughter, please, and send her to me? These guys are in shambles." Now, Drake tried to play it off like he planted this 11-year-old daughter's story, but I gotta say, it's pretty telling that Drake chose to clap back specifically at that one line about his hidden daughter, ignoring the other crazy claims that Kendrick was dishing out about his creepy behavior. Made us all wonder what was going on behind the scenes. I mean, he didn't say anything until his latest diss track, which really was just a white flag. But hold on to your hats, because the drama train ain't slowing down anytime soon. Drake's secret baby mama just stepped out of the shadows allegedly to confirm the rumors. Allegedly, he does indeed have a daughter, and apparently he's been keeping her under wraps from the world. Looks like she's had enough of this hiding in the shadows and is ready to spill the tea on Drake. But here's where it gets even messier. Rumor has it that Kendrick's not playing around either. He's allegedly the mastermind behind getting the baby mama to spill tea, and she's not just talking. Word on the streets is that she's handed over some very juicy videos to Kendrick that he would be ready to use and some ammo on another diss track. Now, these videos supposedly contain evidence of Drake engaging in some inappropriate behavior with young women. Allegedly, the video's really bad, and it paints Drake in a bad light, even worse than all the other stuff that's been said before. Well, Drake better buckle up and end this feud quickly, cause trust me, he does not want it with Kendrick dropping these types of videos. Now, not only is the streets doing their own versions of BBL Drizzy, but they've also been leaving comments all over the internet, saying stuff like, "I'm glad Drake is finally getting called out for his creepy behavior towards teenagers on a larger scale, but how are there people still defending him? Some of y'all weird." For the record, I don't believe Drake is a creep because Kendrick said so. I believe Drake is a creep because he is very obviously a creep, and people have been pointing it out for years. And also, I don't know why Drake acted like he not a creep when Millie Bobby Brown said he used to text her and he's currently dating Lotto's little sister when he pushing Big 40. The allegations are believable because of his actions. I wouldn't be shocked if someone came forward. Y'all, this situation has been an entire hot mess.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. Ay, devil is a lie. Here's 69 God. Ay, freaky ass niggas need to stay their ass inside. Ay, roll their ass up like a fresh pack of Zod. Ay, city is back up. It's up from Alondra down to Central. Nigga better not speak on Serena. And your homeboy needs subpoena. That predator moving flocks. That name gotta be registered and placed on neighborhood watch. I lean on you niggas like another line of walk. Yeah, it's all eyes on me and I'ma send it up the pot. Ay, put the wrong label on me, I'ma get them dropped. Ay, sweet chin music and I won't pass the ox. Ay, how many stocks do I really have in stock? Ay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. Ay, devil is a lie. Here's 69 God. Ay, freaky ass niggas need to stay their ass inside. Ay, roll their ass up like a fresh pack of Zod. Ay, city is back up. It's up from Alondra down to Central. Nigga better not speak on Serena.